One more week, and then at least it's a return to normalcy with our historic show coming up next week. Welcome to episode 74 of The Wise Guys. Tonight, Friday, June the 14th, 2024. And let me bring in my partner, Mike Martinez. Mike, you got to stop meeting like this, brah.
What, different days of the week?
Yeah.
They say variety is the spice of life, James.
It's like when we tried that Thursday thing for a couple of months.
What TV show was moved to a different night that just fell on its face and they realized they had to go back to the regular night? Was it NCIS?
No, because NCIS kind of flourished going from Tuesdays to Monday.
Oh, yeah.
I know it was a CBS show.
I know they did that shit to Jag, too.
Mm-hmm. I think they did it to, I think it might have been Two Broke Girls, but I think they survived for like 2 or 3 more years in that Thursday slot after moving from.
They survived for one reason and one reason only.
Well, of course, and I'm not going to argue with it because I like her as an actress, looks aside.
Darcy might be my favorite MCU secondary character, the one she played in Thor and in Thor: The Dark World, and then on the WandaVision show she came back. But I do like Kat Dennings. But James, we have a very packed show tonight to go with our squirrel moments that are going to happen. As I know I have it on, I'm pretty sure you do too.
I do not. If you give me 5 seconds, I will.
You're killing me.
It'll be on here momentarily.
And what we're talking about being on is Game 4 of the NBA Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. The Celtics a commanding 3-0 lead, but Dallas has a 14-point lead with 9 minutes left in the first half. My observation from watching the last few minutes is that Dallas, another 3, is that Dallas is bringing defensive intensity tonight, James. As I said to you, there's something was wrong with the world because Luka Doncic is playing defense.
Especially after, then again, we'll talk about that in one of our segments of the hat trick. We'll actually have that go second here. But let's start things off. And unfortunately, we got to start it off kind of the same way we did last week.
Let's do it.
It's the 3 biggest topics in the world of sports from the last week. Get ready for the Wise Guys hat trick.
And since we're going to have to lead off in Los Angeles, for the second time in as many weeks, we've lost one of the greatest to ever lace them up, as Jerry West passed away on Wednesday at the age of 86.
We lost the logo, Jim. Plain and simple. For those who don't know, Jerry West, a 14-time All-Star, 10-time NBA All-First Team, 2-time Executive of the Year, and the only Finals MVP for a losing team, the 1969 Finals. He is the logo of the NBA. You make jokes about changing the logos of places. This is something that is absolutely perfect. He was poetry. A kid from the mountains of West Virginia who went to West Virginia and then played, I'm pretty sure, his entire career with the Lakers.
Yep, all 14 seasons with the Lakers.
He was a guy who personified class as an individual. He is the only person inducted into the the Basketball Hall of Fame 3 times.
Yeah, as a player, an exec, and a contributor.
Yeah, it's unreal the life this man led, especially in the game. And I want to go to something that was said by Magic Johnson. And Magic Johnson said Jerry West is the reason the Los Angeles Lakers have 17 flags. Think about it this way. Not only did he win, I think 2 as a player.
1.
Because he won 1 as a player.
1.
Okay, because he lost a bunch.
Yes.
To those great Celtics teams. Of course, the Willis Reed finals in the 69-70 season.
And the 69 finals when he lost was the Celtics winning 4-3, and the Celtics became the first team in history ever to win Game 7 of the finals on the road.
Yeah. And the thing about that is, yeah, he was the finals MVP in a losing team. The only other time you've really heard that brought up was the 2015 finals between Cleveland and Golden State, when a lot of people felt LeBron should have been the finals MVP with the numbers he put up, and quite honestly, the shit he had to carry there. Hello, Oliver. Get out of my face. Pain right in my ass you are. He's getting old, dude. He's going to be 9. But going back to Jerry, let's talk about the impact as an executive. This was the architect of the Showtime Lakers.
Yeah.
This is the guy who spun the deal to get the draft rights to Kobe Bryant. This is the guy who sat Shaquille O'Neal down in a hotel room and said, "You and this kid are going to win championships together." I'm pretty sure he was the GM, or maybe it was Mitch Kupchak, that brought in Pau Gasol and rebuilt that second run with Kobe.
It was Kupchak because he when he left, he never went back to the
That's
Lakers.
right. He had a falling out with the Lakers.
Yeah, it's he went to Memphis and then he ended up finishing up with the Clippers because there was talk after he left Memphis that he was going to go back to the Lakers, but then that's when the Lakers brought in Magic and Rob Pelinka.
Okay. So I mean, this is another one, just absolute legend.
And I'm sorry to kind of throw salt in the wound here, but we also gotta kind of give him credit for he's part of 2 dynasties. Not only did he build the Showtime Lakers, he was the GM that put together the Warrior dynasty.
Yes, he was. And as much as it annoys you and I because of that Warriors dynasty, screw him. He had the forethought too to hire Steve Kerr to be that final piece of the puzzle to get them those titles. Jerry West was a basketball mind that I don't think we'll ever see again. I mean, they didn't win a national title at West Virginia though.
No, they actually, ironically enough, he was named most outstanding player of the 1969 Final Four, and West Virginia lost in the
championship. I think it was 59.
Cal, I'm sorry, you're right. 1959, they lost to Cal 71-70 in the championship game.
That was like Cal's only title too, wasn't it?
Yes.
I mean, you're talking about a guy who went to war against Bill Russell.
Yeah.
And had Wilt with him and went to war against Bill Russell.
And I mean, we're right. He would have had multiple titles, but he was going up against Cousy, Havlicek, and Russell.
And him and Wilt could only do so much. What I am interested to see, I know that, moments of silence and everything else. I want to see the NBA do something special with the logo next season. Not a redesign. Obviously, you don't want to take the logo away from him. But you got to do something special with it. A ribbon, something.
Yeah.
To honor one of the 5 most important players in the history of the game.
I mean, when Bill Russell passed away, everyone had the 6 on. You got to do something. You got to do something along the same route. It's whether you have another black armband and or a stripe on the crown or the chest portion of the jersey with a 44 on it. You got to do something.
I think that would be the most fitting tribute to him. I mean, what else is there really to say about him, Jim? I mean, I know Jerry West is before our time. I mean, Walton, at least we saw the end of his career and his run at UCLA and early in his career with Portland was very, very much because of our fathers being sports fans and your dad with Walton being his favorite player. Um, it was a little easier for us to talk about him. It's not as easy for us to talk about Jerry in the present because it was so far before our time. I will say this, though.
Yeah.
You want to talk about an eye for talent. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he was the coach of the Lakers when they drafted Magic.
Yes, he was. He coached them for 3 years and then kind of moved into a scout for 3 years and then took over as GM in 1982, the year after the Showtime Lakers won their first championship. And here's one thing that a lot of people kind of also forget about Jerry West with his playing career, as great as he was. Um, his There's 8 jerseys that have been retired by the Lakers. He was the third ever to be retired, and that was on November 19th, 1983. The only reason he's third is because Chamberlain and Elgin Baylor both had their jerseys retired simultaneously 10 days prior.
What was Jerry Buss doing? Here's a shocker for you. Why wasn't George Mikan first?
George Mikan didn't actually have his jersey retired until, I want to say, within the last 10 years.
Yeah, I think so. Of course, he was the Minneapolis Lakers, so I mean that's a different animal there. Speaking of the finals, it's 20, the lead, 45-25. And Kyrie just drew an offensive foul on Jason Tatum. But I mean, I don't know what else to say, Jim. I mean, this is getting to be borderline on the ridiculous recently.
Well, there's and like 2 more things as we're just about out of time for the segment here that nobody seems to honestly remember. We talk about the finals going on right now. Jerry West has the NBA record for most points scored in the finals with 1,679.
That's an insane number.
He is 117 points ahead of LeBron James. And with the Lakers in flux as much as they are, and LeBron turning 40 next year, I don't know if that record's going to be.
He ain't doing it.
Here's the thing. The next closest active player is Steph Curry with 926. And Steph Curry's and Steph Curry's going to be 35 next year.
That doesn't seem right either. Just putting that out there. I mean, it wasn't that long ago he was throwing his pacifier
in the front row after getting kicked out of a game. Here.
I know.
But
maybe my favorite finals moment outside of winning the damn thing.
But you got to just think about, grew up in West Virginia, stays home, goes to college, gets to a Final Four, wins a Most Outstanding Player, is the number 2 pick in the 1960 NBA draft. Can you name who the number 1 pick was?
1960? Was it Wilt?
Oscar Robertson.
Oh, well, Jesus.
And you know who was number 7 in that draft?
No.
Lenny Wilkens.
Really? I didn't realize Lenny went top 10.
Has a 14-year Hall of Fame level career. One second here. Wins a championship. Wins. I want to say it was the 1970 scoring title. Yes, he was the 1970 scoring title. 10-time NBA All First Team, 4-time All First Defensive Team, 8-time champion as an executive, 2-time Executive of the Year, and also has 2 sons who are both execs in the NBA right now. His son Ryan is in the Pistons front office, and his other son Johnny is the director of basketball operations for the Warriors. And oh yeah, Johnny's married to Michelle Wee.
That's right. Well, if you can't be a professional athlete, marry one.
And is the architect of the Clippers resurgence, even though the Clippers, with him being, he didn't really have an official title with the Clippers, so to speak. He was definitely a consultant. He was retained by the organization, but they made the playoffs 5 of the 7 years he's been there, including winning their first division championship in franchise history this past season.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you cannot, when you stack it all up, you're talking about maybe as far as playing career, post playing career, and wrapping it all up, you're talking about maybe the greatest basketball arc we've ever seen.
Right. And to piggyback on your point from earlier, yeah, when we talked about Bill Walton last week, we saw him at the end of his career, but we got to see him, but we more so remember what our parents were telling us about him from his Portland days and his UCLA legacy. He was long since retired before we were a thought in our parents' minds now, but we all know how great he was an exec, and it made us go back and watch and learn how great he was as a player as well.
Well, my introduction to him as a player,
success.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I for some reason thought you were done, and I'm having a day. My introduction to him as a player was watching old videos of Game 7 of the 1970 finals, when Willis Reed came hobbling out of the locker room in the Garden, and hit the first 2 shots of the night and what have you, and the Knicks were off and running. That was my first introduction to Jerry West as a player. Pretty good way to be introduced to, because he was borderline unstoppable in that final series too.
Yeah, it's we'll never, as good as we have it now, I don't know. I mean, LeBron, Kobe, Michael, they've got all the records. But some of the records that they're never going to touch are the ones of guys like we've been talking about, like Walton, like Jerry West. Nobody's ever going to touch that 1679 if LeBron doesn't get there in the next 2 years.
Even if he does, how many? It's 170, you said?
117, 117.
117. So that's what? If they play a 5-game series, he's got to average 26.
Yeah. At 40 years old, to put up 25 a night over a 5-game series.
If anybody can do it, it's him.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if that's something he's going to do, or he's even. I don't even think he's going to get the opportunity to.
Yeah. It's, again, with the Lakers in flux right now, and the fact that they could put together whatever they want. They don't have a coach, and at least, this week they don't. Next week could be a different saga. But they've still got to go through a vastly improved Memphis. They've got to go through I'll send you this off the air.
Oh boy.
Somebody I'm speaking with just sent me one of the funniest gifts of the day.
Just make sure you share, James.
Oh, I will. Matter of fact, I may actually share it the next segment so you can actually have it, but I got to free up my phone to do it.
Gotcha.
But completely forgot what the hell I was saying. But again, that 1679, nobody's going to come anywhere near it. And with the Lakers being in such a state of flux right now, you've still got to go through Denver you've got to go through Minnesota. You've got to go through Dallas. Although even if Dallas takes a step back, from finals hangover next year, and played with lightning in a bottle this year, there's still 5, 6, 7, teams better than the Lakers right now, and at least 2 or 3 championship contenders right out of the chute.
Yeah, no, they're going to have a tough road to try and get to the back to the finals, and for that record to be broken. I don't think it's going to be honest with you. I don't think they get it. I don't think they get it done. I don't think they got a prayer in that Western Conference right now. So I think Jerry's going to have that record for some time to come.
I also think this is a point when we could probably talk about this next week in depth, and we'll talk about why here in a minute, or a little later on in the show. But it's definitely something where they're going to want to kind of retool, because they're not about to be sharing that all-time championship record here by the time we come to you next, maybe even by the time we go off the air tonight at this point, if based off of what we saw out of game 3, and we're going to cover that here in a second. But I think this is also a point for the Lakers, and I'm sorry to say it, if for Jerry West, as loyal as he was to the Lakers, I think this is going to now start being a regression and a down period for the franchise. They're going to have West hanging over their head and a lot of uncertainty, off the court, and they're going to have even 2, 3, 4 times more uncertainty on it next year.
Agreed. They have roster problems. They don't have a head coach. The Lakers are in trouble. And it's sad that we have to say that.
And just as a rhetorical question to finish up, it's is this something where we now see the Lakers, come back to earth and reside in mediocrity for 3, 4, 5 years until they can get this thing right?
Wouldn't shock me.
On that note, actually, let me play a different horn outside of that. That is the horn of the Florida Panthers, and we could be less than 48 hours away from baseball being front and center for about the next 4 months at this point.
Yay. Yay.
Michael, have you ever seen an NBA and the Stanley Cup Finals this dominated in your lifetime?
I have not. Now, let me preface it by saying this. I don't recall many sweeps in the Stanley Cup Finals. I remember Colorado did it to Florida in 96. I'm pretty sure Detroit did it to somebody one year in the mid-90s when we were kids. Outside of that, I don't remember off the top of my head a series that was this just... I've watched 2 of the games. I don't know how Edmonton hasn't scored more. They are shooting the snot out of that puck, and Bobrovsky is just insane.
To show you how good Bobrovsky's been, and I'm sorry, Matty Tkachuk, I'm sorry, Carter versus Swaggy. Bobrovsky's winning the Conn Smythe, and possibly tomorrow.
Oh my God, yes.
Regardless, Draisaitl, McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, I can't think of the last 2 off the top of my head, but Edmonton's 5 leading scorers have no goals in this series.
Edmonton's only got like 1 or 2.
Edmonton has 2 goals in this series.
This dude is insane. That performance in game 1 was just insanity.
I mean, for Edmonton to get the 1-0 lead yesterday, and kind of get some momentum, and then Florida just waking up and blowing their doors off.
That's 2 games in a row.
Oh, yeah.
because game one was just in. It was 1-0, and then there were 2 empty netters late. That's why it was 3-0. But again, they won that game 1-0. Bobrovsky was just outrageous. Because that you and I were talking about, that was the game. They had 13 shots on goal in the first period, did not score, and Florida had like 4 and scored.
Yeah, it's the Steve Dangle mentality. It's the team who's doing who's getting killed does the killing. It was
Yeah.
the I would say that and I'm not trying to sound like a homer to these guys, but he brought it up. I actually went back because we went Blues week for me, the 5-year anniversary of it. I mean, the 5-year anniversary was Wednesday. I watched Game 7 back over again, and it's instead of AEW, and but it was in his year-end wrap-up that the team who gets killed does the killing, because the Blues had gone 14 minutes without a shot in the first period and then put up 2 goals in the final 3 minutes of that period.
Jeez. I mean, hockey is one of the few team sports out there where one player can take over and just dominate. And it's usually the goaltender.
Yeah.
Because you don't hear about guys who don't stand on their head when having a chance to win the Conn Smythe. This guy's doing more than standing on his head. I mean, this guy's unreal. I mean, Connor McDavid even said they're still trying to figure them out. You're going into game 4, boys. Better figure it out.
3-0.
Yeah, you're going into game 4. If you haven't figured it out by now, start packing your fucking locker.
Yeah, I mean, at least, for the Oilers, they don't have far to go.
They'll be home.
Exactly. But, going over to the NBA right now, I mean, the Mavericks have held double-digit leads in 2 of the 3 games in this series, not counting tonight, and lost them both. And Boston just blew their doors off both times. I mean, Game 3 on Wednesday night has been the only close game of this series, and it was still a 7-point game in the end, but it was still something that Dallas blew a 21-point lead in the second half and was also down. And then Boston was also down 13 in the first quarter.
Well, it is now halftime in Dallas. The halftime score is Dallas 61, Boston 35. It is the least amount of points in the Joe Mazzulla era that Boston has scored in a half ever.
Do we actually I'm not going to play devil's advocate. I'm not going to throw on tinfoil hat. I'm not going to play, space lasers and other conspiracy theories and everything like that. Is this something where Boston's taking their foot off the gas and maybe actually trying to make a statement and make a big second half run, or is there something that they want number 18 at the Garden on Sunday night?
Pre-26
or Monday, did we say earlier?
I think it's Monday. Pre-2016, I would have said yes, they're trying to get one at home. And then the Cavaliers did what they did.
But there's a difference of coming back 3-1 as opposed to 3-0 when you've been absolutely dominant and can basically do whatever you want for 3 games.
Well, let's see how tonight plays out. I think tonight, because as I said before, Luka Doncic is playing defense. The reason that they are up so big is because the Dallas Mavericks are playing with defensive intensity. Now, as we all know, one thing that travels is defense. If they can pick up the defense and play it this way, look, we saw it in the Cleveland series. The Cavs were healthy for 1 game. They played really good defense, and they beat the Celtics in Boston. So it really it comes down to how you can travel. I'm going to say this to you, Jim. This will be a champion that was never really tested. And it's not because they were so good. It's because they ran into everybody and their mother who was fucking hurt.
Yeah, but it's not how many, it's how.
Well, no, and I get that, but it's the same. It's the same math
I'm
formula.
sorry. I'm sorry. That would actually go in reverse here. It's in this case, it is how many, because at this particular point, it's 16 victories. Regardless of how
Yeah.
you get there, it's still 16 victories.
Yeah, it's still 16 victories, but if your road is easier, it's the whole reason. It's the whole LeBron isn't that great because the East was terrible conversation. You beat who's in front of you, 100%. But the problem is if you're playing these teams and they are at 60%, 75, did you win because you were healthy or did you win because you were better?
I think it's definitely a combination of both, is because everyone runs into injuries, but you've conditioned yourself well enough to where you're not on that list.
Well, it's not even that too. I mean, it's also you have a front office that built you a roster that can fill the holes. Remember who the big man on game one of the finals was Kristaps Porzingis,
Who's not playing tonight? Yeah.
who's not playing tonight and didn't play the rest of the playoffs. He's played 1.5 games in this playoff series or in this playoff run. Or no, he played the first round.
Yeah. No, he hadn't played since April 29th. I think he actually I think he played 1 or 2 games in that first round and then just
Got hurt.
Yeah. But because remember, we were actually talking this time last week after game 1, could he actually be the finals MVP?
Well, if he'd have done that 2 or 3 more times, yeah, he would have been.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm looking at the box score right now that, Doncic has got 25, but Doncic is shooting 10 of 18 from the floor. He's missed all 4 of his threes. And Jason Tatum's the only Celtic in double figures with 15. Drew Holiday's 1 of 6 from the floor. Jaylen Brown's 3 of 10. And Boston's only run 8 guys out on the floor. Now, granted, Dallas has run 9, but every single player that's entered the lineup for Dallas has scored.
Yeah. Is it Dante Exum's kid that's playing for them?
I think it's Dante Exum himself.
He'd be ancient.
Because I know
no way.
Dante Exum is 28 years old.
I thought he was older than that.
I remember he was here for a cup of coffee. Well, yeah, he was here for a cup of coffee. He was part of the deal that that landed the Cavs Spida.
That's right. Okay.
2014 first round pick of the Jazz, 5th overall.
Question: did he have a relative who played years ago?
I don't think so, but I'm going to check. His father Cecil played at North Carolina and won on. He was part of the Jordan and Worthy championship team in '82. Cecil was drafted in '84 by Denver, but later played in Australia.
Okay, yeah, because the thing is, I was
We just think he's a lot older because he got drafted so young.
It's not even that. I feel like I thought he was in NBA Live 98 or 99. Why did I think that? Maybe
Are you thinking of Nick Van Exel?
No. We did a custom team, me and some friends of mine. I thought he was on there.
No, Dante Exum, I mean, when he actually entered the NBA, he was only 18.
Makes sense. Well, a lot of Kyrie, I think, was 18 when he came in.
Yeah, because he might have been 19 because he had to play that 1 year at Duke.
Well, LeBron was 17, so
yeah.
I mean, it's
LeBron was one of the last to be able to come out of high school.
Does it get to Game 5 in either one of them, Jim? You think?
I think the NBA goes to Game 5. I don't know if Dallas. I don't see. I think Dallas, blows some of that lead, but I don't think they're going to blow 23 at this point.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't see the Stanley Cup Finals going back to Sunrise. I think the Cup is in Edmonton and gets presented on the ice by Gary Bettman tomorrow night.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think barring major injury to the goaltender, I think this is over.
Well, what if the Celtics come back and win this tonight? And then what if Florida finishes up tomorrow? Mike, can you guess if that were to happen? I know we talked about this earlier. We were posing, has it ever happened before? Yes, it has. Can you guess the number of times? And I'll give you a hint. It's single digits and it's low. It's less than 5. That there have been a sweep in the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals in the same year.
3 times. Really?
1995, the Houston Rockets sweep the Orlando Magic. The New Jersey Devils sweep the Detroit Red Wings.
That's right. Oh my! That was Marty Brodeur's second cup.
And that was denying Detroit a three-peat, I think.
No, 95?
Yeah.
No, that was their first cup.
Well, Detroit
Rangers won it
for a three-peat.
That 94 was the Rangers.
That's right. You're right. The only other time it happened, 1983. The Sixers sweep the Lakers.
And the Islanders swept too.
Edmonton. Gretzky's first shot at a cup, and it was the final year of the Islander dynasty.
How many in a row did they win?
4 in a row, 19 playoff series, because they lost to Gretzky in 84 in the finals in 5 games.
That's right. They were going for 5 in a row.
And those 19 playoff series are still, we talk about West record never being broken. I brought it up when we paid tribute to Mike Bossy a couple of years ago on the show.
That was already a couple years ago. Good God.
But I think there's certain records we talk about in sports that's never going to be broken. Jerry West's, finals points record. Cal Ripken's Ironman streak. 19 playoff series or even 19 playoff wins, in a row, if we're even talking about single elimination like the NFL or even college. Those are records that we are never going to see broken again.
No way. No, we're not going to see it broken. No. And not with the parity in the game now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to be seen anymore.
And especially with college essentially turning into free agency.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And that episode's coming. We got to get the sporting Sith on for that one. So, Jim,
it is, when everyone's cashing in, including a baseball pitcher's girlfriend.
Yeah. So what do you say we get to our final topic in the hat trick? Let's have a little fun.
Yeah, what the hell?
Oh boy.
The fact that we're talking in the 3 most important topics in sports with everything that's going on, and we're talking about a competitive eating competition that's been altered, that the trajectory's been altered in 2 weeks.
First things first. We want to talk about unbreakable records. Ain't nobody eating that many fucking hot dogs in one shot like Joey Chestnut did. So let's give the man his flowers, or, well, his dogs. But, I mean, here's my question. And I say this to all those out there who consume them and enjoy them. plant-based fucking hot dogs. Joey, you fucking turncoat.
Joey Chestnut is now sponsored by Impossible Foods Incorporated, who makes plant-based hot dogs and is a direct competitor to Nathan's. As a result, Joey Chestnut will not be able to defend his mustard belt for a 9th consecutive year and would be going for his 17th overall, meaning the door is wide open for somebody like a Tim Janis, aka Eater X, or anybody else to kind of jump in there and take this away. Because if he's going to continue, if anytime you really pick up a sponsorship, it's pretty much a multi-year deal. So Chestnut is also 40 years old. We've got to actually maybe start thinking about, the future of the Nathan's 4th of July hot dog eating contest without Jaws.
Is it poetic justice that the Cologuard commercial is on the TV right now? I'm sorry. That is out of pocket. I apologize.
The fun. Here's the ironic thing, and it's all going to come full circle here in a minute. Chestnut's got 16 belts. He's won 16 out of 17. The only time he didn't win one after he started winning them was 2005. Or I'm sorry, I believe it was either 2005 or 2015. After taking over the reins from Kobayashi, Kento Kobayashi.
Yeah.
Kobayashi won 6 in a row, then got banned. Then Chestnut,
what did he get banned for? What, did he have surgery to make his stomach bigger?
I don't remember. I want to say that there might have been like a confrontation with him where he might have been like disqualified the day of or the day before or something. So Kobayashi gets disqualified. Then Chestnut comes on, wins 16 out of 17 after finishing runner-up to Kobayashi a number of 3 or 4 years when he first burst onto the circuit. And now Chestnut is banned.
Well, can I go back to the plant-based hot dog thing real quick? I mean, we all know and learned in our childhood that hot dogs are made of lips and assholes. We all know that. What? Really? Plant-based? What? Is it a carrot made to look like or put in hot dog water like the entire state of Michigan smells like? What the fuck are they doing?
There is a part of me that is somewhat intrigued by the idea of the Impossible Whopper, but the problem is you cannot eat Burger King without it fucking up your stomach for 3 days because of the flame broiling and all the extra grease that's on it when it's done. I don't know if I could pull the trigger on a hot dog the same way. Me getting a pack of turkey dogs is a lot different than actually getting a pack of plant-based dogs.
Do you want to know what's in my freezer right now? Nathan's. I mean, say it ain't so, Joe. What is this? I'm hurt, James. I'm physically and emotionally hurt by this. Again, Big Rican is not just a name; it's a lifestyle. This bothers me to no end. Oh my god! Oh man, we gotta play that for Alex.
Ironically enough, I was watching Eric Bischoff. I was watching a replay of one of the segments of Eric Bischoff's 83 Weeks podcast from about 3 weeks ago, where they went over his favorite top 5 firings while he was in charge at WCW.
Oh, that's a nice list.
It was Raven in no particular order. It was Raven. It was Brian Pillman. It was Steve Austin.
That's right.
The one that he flat out enjoyed, though, and he's made this public, was the Honky Tonk Man.
Really? That's right. I didn't like him either.
He was cool and cocky, and he's bad.
Yeah.
You know who his cousin is, though, right?
Oh, shit.
Jerry
I do
Lawler.
know this. That's right. That's right. So this sets up a Labor Day dream match between Kobayashi and Joey Chestnut. And
Do you want to say it? I know you want to say it.
I talked to our creative consultant that lives in my house, and I told her what we were thinking, and she just kind of looked at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Michael? Oh, I wish I had a drum roll right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, it will not be the live shot if it's during the day, obviously. But on Labor Day, James and I will bring you our third ever live reaction episode to the Kobayashi Joey Chestnut hot dog eating contest on Netflix.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
Oh, no. This one deserves this.
There will be hot dogs consumed live on
There will be.
this show.
I will even buy gluten-free buns, obviously, with what goes on in my home. But if you could have seen the look on my wife's face when I said you and I were going to do this, it was a mix between what's wrong with you and horrified. Or more like this.
That's going to be my stomach after going to Taco Bell with your suggestion because of my digestive distress after the show.
Well, you said you wanted to clean yourself out. There's only two places you go to for that: Pizza Hut and Taco Bell, although you do have Little Caesars out there.
Yeah, I ain't driving over to Richmond Heights from here because that's the closest Little Caesars.
DoorDash.
I ain't DoorDashing $5 pizza.
You shouldn't DoorDash any pizza from there, but I get you. So as long as there are no familial obligations to handle, we will be doing a reaction to that, and I've already figured out how we're going to do it. The camera that I purchased recently, that I stopped using because after the updates on the Chromebook fixed this one, has a tripod on it. And on Restream, you can actually do two different cameras. So I am going to have this one on me. I will have the other one on the television, and it's on.
Yeah, I think possibly next week, or certainly by our hiatus that we're going to be taking next month. And we'll talk about that here near the end of the show as things kind of are filling out here. I definitely think I'm going to have my official boom mic stand, so this way I can get this off the desk and actually have it hanging a little bit.
Nice. See, I tried on the desk. I thought about a boom mic stand, but I really don't have anything to hook it to because all I use is the TV trays.
Yeah.
On this, I like having it in my hand.
I figure as compact as my setup is, it's like I don't have a whole lot of room to put my notes just because the soundboard on my phone is right next to it, and it's like I'm like at the corner of my desk with the angles that are set up, in my space, at least for right now.
Yeah, no, I understand that 100%. I just peeked in at the finals, and it's 67-38 Dallas with 9:53 left in the third quarter.
It's now 70-38, so we're at 32. So, yeah.
Hold on, I want to see how they got. Oh, Kyrie's going to dot this dude's eye. Oh no, Kyrie's going to get the assist.
Yeah,
he's going to dot his eye.
Boston is mailing this in tonight.
It's getting chippy too, Jim. I think Tatum's got 4 fouls already. to be honest with you.
Yep.
Luka just got called for a foul because the guy from Boston, the bald guy with the beard, that I hated from the Cavs series, just tripped over his own goddamn feet and ran into Luka.
Here's a tale of just, two teams. Dallas is 26 of 49 from the floor for 53%. Boston is 13 of 42 for 31%. And
Yeah, no,
Tatum again now 4 fouls early in the second half.
yeah, no. It's unreal to see, but it is not because Boston's not shooting well. It is because Dallas is playing some inspired defense tonight.
And yeah, because they are out rebounding Boston 30-15 right now overall. They both teams have 10 assists. Dallas has 4 steals to 2, and they have 6 blocks to Boston's. I take that back. That's the wrong column. That's turnovers. It did not line up correctly.
Well, it's 33 now.
They have 8 rebounds, and Boston has 8 offensive rebounds. Boston has 2.
Yeah, it's 33 now. Jones Jr. just hit a corner 3 on an assist from Kyrie, who's playing like a point guard.
Corner 3.
So that's our hat trick this evening, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, next week we'll have a hat trick probably without hockey in it.
And probably basketball. Well, then again, we'll be talking some basketball, but
if everything lines up the way we want it to, obviously. So what do you say we hit halftime? Look at that, Jim, less than an hour.
Yeah.
We're getting better at this. And then we have 84 different things to talk about in a fucking blast, and we're going to be here all night.
No, we'll be able to cut some of those pretty quick. It's we definitely want to get to bed at decent hours tonight because we both got a lot going on this weekend.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So we will see you guys after our short break. 8 minutes?
Somewhere in there, it gives me a chance to put together some of the graphics for what we've got coming up because we've got a loaded blast, but everything in there is going to be pretty quick. But we've got probably a more loaded thread count than we do the blast tonight because we have not done the thread count in a little while. But there's so much news that came out in the last couple of days, we could not actually ignore it.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So we will see you guys on the other side. Enjoy. Okay, so we're back and we're actually going to wrap it up a little early tonight as we're having some difficulties here at home. Georgia and no AC doesn't mix. So next week we'll have a big show for you for number 75 with some guests. So Jim, I'm actually going to say so long and let you wrap it up for the night, and I will talk to you very soon, sir.
Everybody, yeah, we're gonna actually end the show here a little early. We might actually do a little bit more unabridged kind of show next week. But next week, diamonds are forever, and so are the wise guys. Episode 75 will come to you live June 22nd, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We are actually plotting some very special guests to come on here with us, possibly a new face. We're definitely looking to get some of the maybe some of the Wisey Elite to come on, possibly some of the Four Horsemen. But we're sorry to kind of end this, but yeah, it is. Mike has got it is very hot down where he is. It's going to be in the mid 90s where I'm at here in Cleveland most of next week, so I can completely understand what he's going through. I'm going to be getting what he's getting right now. So yeah, you first and foremost got to keep the family comfortable. But everybody out there, have yourselves a great evening. All you fathers out there, have a very, very happy Father's Day. We will see you guys in our normal slot next Saturday night. And again, we're sorry for having to end this, but we'll be back better than ever next week. Everybody, take care.